History of Alcohol Use in Western Australia. Many of you may be aware of this fact, but there may be many among us today that may not. So from the mid-19th century, well into the 20th century, legislation in Western Australia specifically restricted Aboriginal people from drinking, obtaining, or supplying alcohol, and from visiting licensed premises. In 1944, the Natives Citizenship Rights Act required Aboriginal people to sever all ties with their extended family and to demonstrate they had adopted the manner and habits of civilised life for at least 2 years to gain full rights of citizenship. Citizenship, once granted, could be revoked if civilised life was not maintained. The consequence of Aboriginal people being granted conditional citizenship and being issued the dog tag meant that the right of citizenship became synonymous with the right to drink alcohol. A black market in the supply of grog was one of the consequences, and as in the case of Albert Namatjira, the supplier was often charged with the crimes of others. So how did alcohol use in the Kimberley relate to what was happening nationally? In the 1967 Constitutional Amendment, many discriminatory laws affecting Aboriginal people were revoked, but not all. Interestingly, at the meeting of CHOGM in Singapore in 1971, Commonwealth action against Ian Smith's Rhodesian racist regime dominated the agenda. This led jurisdictions in Australia to examine their statutes in order to clean up Australia in preparation for our participation in a British-led campaign against the Smith regime. At that time, WA's Liquor Licensing Act specifically restricted Aboriginal people who did not have the dog tag from drinking grog. Under pressure from William McMahon's federal government, WA agreed to abolish this restriction and repeal the Natives Citizenship Rights Act. The Act was repealed in 1971, and that became known as the time when Aboriginal people in the Kimberley got their rights. The requirement to pay Aboriginal workers resulted in mass expulsions from pastoral stations across the Kimberley and led to the introduction of universal access to social security or sit-down money.